there. It's that moon, basically, is their home world. Am I getting that correct?
Yeah, this is their homeworld. Homeworld of Lucari.
Surprisingly, they don't live on that beautiful rainbow-looking planet that kind of looks like a gas giant to
Well,
me.
that's because it is a gas giant. And if you know the properties of a gas giant, you'll understand why it's not habitable.
I don't necessarily know, so do you mind
I'll link you an
explaining?
article because honestly, I'm not good at explaining the exact science of it. But basically, a gas giant is not going to have any sort of terrain on. It's not going to have any terrarium on it. No, it's not going to have any like earth or like solid terrain. Um,
No surface exactly. It's basically it would have a form of a small mass that is very strong in a magnetic force to keep gases constantly swirling around and having storms.
correct.
Just like how in our solar system, Jupiter itself is a massive gas giant.
Mm-hmm. And the pressure.
But
Go ahead.
isn't it true that Jupiter's moons are habitable?
Well, that descriptor would work depending on the technology that we as humans would have developed by then.
Which I'm hoping in our near future that we are having the capability to explore planets and or moons within our own solar system other than our own moon.
Well,
But I hope nothing happens or ends up like,
Your
well,
discovery of a nearby warp-capable
the movie
species may be
Avatar.
a boon to the Republic. We will open a
Big,
dialogue
giant, tall, blue
immediately to
people coming
discuss the
after us
possibility of
for
trade.
basically trying to salvage
This
their
is time
materials of their
travel,
planet.
this quantum inhibitor, though.
Which I think we should be a little more diplomatic than we do more of salvaging or anything like that.
What the Tholians might be up to.
And be a lot more respectful of other species and their surroundings.
good idea.
You agree that it would be a lot more better and more beneficial to everyone around us if we're a lot more diplomatic than we are anything else?
The thing is that and are we talking about for our own planet or for our proceedings going forward in space if we were to find other life?
A little bit of both.
Well, the thing is that according to the games I've played, the articles I've read, the books I've also read, we would have advanced significantly at this stage, especially in the area of space travel and colonization, if we were a united planet politically. Yeah, politically, if we were united and our coordination was better, we would have probably colonized some. I think it was Jupiter's moons. Um, going forward into space, I
Wait,
mean,
which planet is the next one closest to ours that could be habitable?
oh, Mars. Did you know that they're actually sending a team up there in like I think it's 5 years?
Hmm. Which multiple movies that I've seen is that most colonization of every kind really doesn't necessarily work. Something always does go wrong.
Well, this is an experiment, so
Well, I sure hope the brave astronauts come back alive. Or don't die along the way there. Because isn't the distance between here and Mars quite vast?
it'd take about 6 months travel time. And the typical, if it was a certain rocket speed, a speed that we have access to today, it would take about 6 months travel time. So it's really not bad.
Well, hearing from you, I think that's pretty good.
Yes,
least
if you
for now.
want, because I actually I think 1 or 2 years ago was reading a lot of articles on it and watching a few videos. If you want, I would link that stuff to you at some point. If you're interested in finding more about how our efforts are going for colonization on Mars, it's I was kind of jealous. I was kind of jealous of the astronauts were selected to go up there. But at the same time, I would have to leave this life behind here. So give or take, but. I did have a thing for
Hey,
space, and
I'll
that's
join you if you decide to go in space. I mean, I'll find ourselves a new version of any one of our favorite ships, possibly in the future.
well. See, the thing that appealed to me, especially about space, is that it'd be just like Star Trek suggests. It would be the final frontier. Given that we would be on Mars, far away from any sort of government on Earth,
I
it
have a
pretty
little opinion about that saying, space, the final frontier. Well, I don't think space is the final frontier, to be exact. The final frontier to me would be, well, making a family.
Do you care to
Now
explain that?
that would be the final frontier. Because it's a challenge, it's an adventure to make a family. It's a frontier that not everyone themselves ventures across to taking. They
Well,
usually prefer to travel or basically do space stuff and all that fun stuff. Never really want to make a family. So I think the actual final frontier is to make a family.
well, the
At
thing
least
is,
my
is
opinion.
that the thing is that if we call it the final frontier, there's a problem with using that word because that could at least suggest that there is nothing more to do after one has started a family, and it could be a part. The whole aspect of starting a family, having a family, maintaining a family, could be a part of a larger frontier. I think that'd be more fair to say. Um,
Well, yes, now I'm thinking about it. I agree, and also along with that, there is also other things that you could also talk about too. Is that when you say that space is the final frontier, I'm still disagreeing that it really isn't, because if you're just talking about our own solar system, or our own galaxy itself, there out there in our universe, there are multiple galaxies, multiple universes, different dimensions, different space times.
correct.
It's vast and wide. There's practically no end to it. So how can space be the final frontier
Well,
when it
suggesting
goes
that
on for so long?
Well, suggest Raven. Here's the thing: is that if it goes on for that long, if there was no end to it, then that suggests itself that is the final frontier. There is no turning space from a frontier into an establishment, or at least an organized one. If it is the final frontier because it is the ever going frontier. If there is always something new to it, then it is still a frontier. It is at we're always if there is no end to it, we're always going to be at the cusp of something, just before anything new. So that suggests there itself, because it is supposedly infinite, that and I'm not saying that I disagree with that notion. That's getting too complex, but the suggestion that it is infinite is itself the indicator that it would be the final frontier.
Yes, you do have a very, very, very valid point as well. I'm actually kind of proud of us getting all diplomatic-y.
Philosophy, I think, is what I mean. No, well, philosophy, science, politics. I guess. Of course, I don't really like to touch politics with 10-foot pole. But the thing is that going back to your cooperation question there, I can't say that I have
The
a.
Korean War is
Oh,
finally over, and we can concentrate
Continue talking.
on securing
hold
the
on.
future of the
Where was I? Oh yeah. Hold on. Let me get back to the train of thought. I agree with I lost my train of thought.
Well, that tends to happen.
So the thing is that there's a particular reason. Here's the thing: is I agree with the Federation and their ideals. Because back in the day when Star Trek started, it was supposed to be the embodiment of the United States, and Klingons the Russians. And there are a lot of admirable ideals of the Federation as far as cooperation, maintaining peace. Of course, there nothing is perfect, and you can see that in quite a few Star Trek episodes as far as the how the Federation operates. Even the Klingons have used some of that to their advantage in attacking the Federation. So I think that cooperation is a good idea. Just because I like the Klingons doesn't mean I want us to live like them. The reason
Of course, everyone has their differences, and everyone respects each other's differences, at least most of everyone. But some people don't, and some people do, so it all depends on who and what you're around.
The reason I like the Klingons is because I am a huge fan of the Horde in World of Warcraft, and the Klingons' culture is practically identical to the Horde of World of Warcraft.
Well, I'm not totally positive on the knowledge that I have of World of Warcraft, but I will agree with you.
Yep, in terms of Warcraft, Starfleet would be the Alliance, and the Klingon Empire would be the Horde.
Oh, actually, I'll agree with that one. But aren't there not just the orcs in the Horde? There are other species?
Correct, which is why you have the Klingon Empire. And when I say Klingons, I mean
Ah.
Klingon Empire as a whole. And I have at one point equated some individual races in World of Warcraft to races in Star Trek Online. So, yeah.
Which I find quite interesting.
Nah, it's nothing special.
But let's continue with the video and repeat this mission so I can get my last item, and then we can go to the next mission.